Today we have a flywheel off of a John Deere tractor. Needs to try to get turned. You can see some groove to it there. So we're going to do a little unconventional way of doing it, but we're going to use a brake lathe to turn a flywheel. And I'll show you how. So to set this up, you're going to use the drum cutter attachment, and we are going to use the gearbox that is for cutting rotors so that it'll come across the flywheel. Something that we need to do is to make sure that we have our head set so that our cutter reaches maximum stroke before it touches this piece here. You see we got a little gap there. Bring that in. We don't want to get too close, but we're at maximum stroke right now, so if we just go ahead and lock that down where it's at, we'll be good to go. Okay, so now that we got our flywheel indexed and that we know that it is running as true as possible, I don't have a camera stand, or I would have showed you how to do that. We're going to turn the machine on. We're going to then bring this dial back so that it is just touching our cutter tool. With the machine spinning, we'll hear it touch off, and then we will crank this one back in to our start position, engage it, and watch it as it comes out to make sure that we don't get into this out here. We're actually going to make sure, before we run it in, we'll actually make sure that we do that first. Got a little high spot there. I'm just feeding this by hand. And there we've run out of stroke on the machine. So we'll run it back in. Okay, now that we've touched off and we got ourselves indexed and all, we're going to flip this lever towards us. This will make a fairly fast cut. Alright, so we made our first full cut. I went ahead and just cut the video short because it does take forever. And don't mind the gunshots in the background. It's still hunting season here in Virginia. So you can see that it's a little off center. It's probably only about, I think my dial indicator said a half a thou, maybe a little stronger towards a thousandths. We're probably going to get that cut out in the next pass. So what we're going to do is go ahead and turn this back on, run the cutter tool back in. We will draw it in just a little bit more and then go ahead and cut it again. Alright, reach the end of the stroke. Let's go ahead and crank it back in. As you can see, it didn't cut all of it. I didn't, just barely moved the depth of it in. Oops. Getting off camera here. I'm watching what I'm doing, not what I'm videoing. Alright, I always just kind of run it back out a little bit. And we'll give it a little turn here. And that's throwing some chips again. I'm not exactly sure how much I'm taking off each pass because there's no dial on here. This is a speed rate gauge, but there's no markings on this dial, so I don't really know how far we're going. Starting that third pass now. Like I said, I don't know how much we're taking. We might only be taking half a thousandths on each pass. We might only be taking, who knows, we may be taking 2,000ths, but I kind of doubt it. When we get into some skipping passes again, I think we're probably about to hear. Yep, yeah, we're going to need to make a fourth pass already, so we'll just let this run its way and go from there. Alright, run that thing again. Alrighty. That's about it. Let's turn this off. Run this in a little bit. Good. Knocking everything on the ground. Darn things. Run that away so we don't cut into it anymore. If you can see off the reflection of the light, got ourselves a nice smooth surface again for our clutch to ride on. What took me about an hour to do as far as total setup and process all together, just saved this customer somewhere around $450 to $500 from John Deere for a new flywheel. So stick around, we got more videos to come. See y'all later.